Long before many modern nations existed, before the Roman Empire ruled the Mediterranean, before Europe entered the Middle Ages, a powerful civilization was already rising on a vast plateau between Mesopotamia and Central Asia. This was Iran, a land of towering mountains and endless deserts, a crossroads between East and West, where trade routes met, cultures blended, and empires were born. For more than 3,000 years, Iran has shaped the course of world history. Persian kings once ruled lands stretching from the Mediterranean Sea to the Indus River. Scholars preserved knowledge through the medieval world. Poets wrote verses that are still read and memorized centuries later. But Iran's story is not only one of greatness, it is also a story of conquest, transformation, and revolution. Empires collapsed, invaders arrived, religions changed, and nations were reshaped. From the ruins of Persepolis to the mosques of Isfahan to the crowded streets of modern Tehran, this is the story of Iran, a story of empire, faith, and revolution. Long before the Persian Empire rose to power, the Iranian plateau was already home to early civilizations. One of the most important was the Elamite civilization. Centered in southwestern Iran near the city of Susa, the Elamites built cities as early as 3000 BC. They created systems of government, developed writing, and traded with powerful neighbors in Mesopotamia. For centuries, Susa became one of the oldest continuously inhabited cities on Earth. But the Iranian plateau was never ruled by only one people. Between 2000 and 1500 BC, new tribes arrived from the steppes of Central Asia. These were the Indo-Iranian peoples. Among them were two groups that would shape history, the Medes and the Persians. They spoke early Iranian languages and practiced religious traditions that would later influence Zoroastrianism. Over time, the Medes became the dominant power across western Iran, but it would be their allies, the Persians, who would build one of the greatest empires in history. In 550 BC, a Persian ruler named Cyrus the Great rebelled against the Median king. Within just a few years, Cyrus defeated the Medes and united the Iranian tribes. A new empire was born, the Achaemenid Empire, and it expanded with astonishing speed. Cyrus conquered the wealthy kingdom of Lydia in Anatolia. Then, in 539 BC, he captured the legendary city of Babylon. But Cyrus ruled differently from many conquerors. Instead of destroying Babylon, he allowed local religions and traditions to continue. He even allowed exiled peoples, including the Jewish population, to return to their homelands. Because of this, Cyrus became known not only as a conqueror, but as a ruler remembered for tolerance and pragmatic leadership. After Cyrus came a series of powerful rulers. Among them was Darius I. Darius reorganized the empire into provinces called satrapies. He introduced a standardized currency and built one of the most impressive infrastructure systems of the ancient world, the Royal Road. Stretching more than 2,500 kilometers, this road allowed messengers to travel across the empire with incredible speed. At the center of this vast empire stood its ceremonial capital, Persepolis, a monumental city of palaces, terraces, and towering columns carved with lions and bulls. At its peak, the Persian Empire stretched from Egypt and Greece in the west to Central Asia and the Indus Valley in the east. It was the largest empire the world had ever seen. But such power inevitably attracted rivals. To the west lay a small but fiercely independent region, Greece. In the early 5th century BC, Persian kings attempted to bring the Greek city-states under their rule. King Xerxes I, son of Darius, launched a massive invasion. But despite their enormous armies, the Persians could not fully conquer the Greeks. More than a century later, a new conqueror emerged from the same lands. His name was Alexander the Great. In 334 BC, Alexander launched a daring invasion of the Persian Empire. Battle after battle followed. Eventually, Alexander defeated the Persian king Darius III. Persian cities fell, and in 330 BC, Alexander marched into Persepolis. The once mighty Achaemenid Empire collapsed. Yet Alexander did not simply destroy Persian culture. Instead, he adopted many Persian traditions and attempted to merge Greek and Persian civilizations, but his empire would not last. When Alexander died in 323 BC, it fractured almost immediately. Iran fell under the control of the Seleucid Empire, ruled by Greek elites. Yet Persian identity remained strong, and soon a new Iranian power would rise. In the 3rd century BC, a new force emerged from northeastern Iran, the Parthians. Originally nomadic warriors, the Parthians built a powerful empire stretching from Mesopotamia to Central Asia. Their greatest rival was the expanding Roman Empire. For centuries, Rome and Parthia fought bitter wars across the Middle East. Parthian cavalry became legendary for their battlefield tactics, especially the famous Parthian shot, where mounted archers fired arrows while retreating at full speed. But the Parthian Empire was decentralized, and eventually another Persian dynasty replaced it. In 224 AD, a ruler named Ardashir I founded the Sasanian Empire. The Sasanians sought to revive the glory of ancient Persia. They strengthened the monarchy and promoted Zoroastrianism as the state religion. Art, architecture, and literature flourished. Massive palaces were built, including the famous Tak Kasra Arch. But the Sasanians faced constant war with the Byzantine Empire. These endless conflicts drained both empires, and in the deserts to the south, a new force was rising. In the 7th century, Arab armies inspired by the new religion of Islam swept across the Middle East. The exhausted Sasanian Empire could not withstand the invasion. In 651 AD, the last Sasanian king was defeated. Persia became part of the Islamic world. But Persian culture did not disappear. Instead, it flourished. Persian scholars, scientists, and poets helped shape the intellectual life of the Islamic Golden Age. The Persian language re-emerged as one of the great literary languages of the world. Poets such as Ferdowsi, Hafez, and Rumi created works that remained famous centuries later. The armies of Genghis Khan swept across Central Asia and into Persia. Cities were destroyed, millions died. Eventually the Mongols ruled Persia through a state called the Ilkhanate. But over time, even the Mongol rulers adopted Persian culture and Islam, and once again, Iran endured. In 1501, a young leader named Shah Ismail I founded the Safavid Empire. His decision would shape Iran forever. He declared Shia Islam the official religion of the state. This separated Iran from its largely Sunni neighbours. Under Shah Abbas the Great, the Safavid Empire reached its peak. A magnificent new capital rose in Isfahan. Travellers described its grand squares, mosques, and gardens as among the most beautiful in the world. By the 18th century, Safavid power collapsed. Eventually, the Qajar dynasty took control, but Iran faced increasing pressure from expanding European empires, especially Russia and Britain. In 1906, a wave of protests led to the Persian Constitutional Revolution. Iran created its first parliament, the Majlis. This marked the birth of modern Iranian politics. In 1925, Reza Shah Pahlavi seized power. He attempted to rapidly modernize the country. His son, Mohammad Reza Shah, continued these reforms, but many Iranians opposed the Shah's authoritarian rule and close ties with Western powers. By the late 1970s, mass protests filled the streets. In 1979, the Shah fled the country, and Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini returned from exile. The Islamic Republic of Iran was born. Only 1 year later, Iraq invaded Iran. The Iran-Iraq War lasted 8 brutal years. Hundreds of thousands died. Entire cities were destroyed. The war ended in 1988, leaving both nations devastated. Today, Iran is home to more than 85 million people. It remains one of the most influential powers in the Middle East, but it also faces economic sanctions, political tensions, and debates over reform. And in 2026, Iran entered another moment of crisis. Missile strikes hit a leadership compound in Tehran, killing Iran's longtime supreme leader Ali Khamenei. The attack triggered a dangerous confrontation across the region and raised fears of a wider war. For the first time in decades, the future leadership of Iran became uncertain. Empires have risen and fallen on the Iranian plateau. Conquerors have come and gone. Revolutions have reshaped the nation. Yet through every upheaval, one thing has endured: Persian civilization, its language, its culture, its identity. From the ruins of Persepolis to the streets of modern Tehran, the story of Iran continues, and like its past, its future will shape the world. Don't miss out. Hit that subscribe button and join our community for weekly videos packed with tips, insights, and entertainment.